everybody. My name is Travis White, former executive chef of the Hotel Sorrento in downtown Seattle. Today is day one of the Stay Inside, Stay Healthy order for Seattle, or for Washington State. Governor Inslee came and said that last night and effective immediately. So here I am stuck at home with nothing to do. So I thought I'd start cooking some interesting and unique ideas with top ramens. I got a couple different types of top ramen here, and we're just gonna basically kind of explore different ways to make top ramen from the mind of a chef. So this is my first cooking video ever, so I have no idea what I'm doing, so we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna talk about different ways to prepare top ramen that are better than from the bag, but today we're gonna start off with just how to prepare it from the bag. I know you don't really need a executive chef to show you how to make top ramen from a bag, but that's where we're going to start, because that's where, that's how culinary works, is you start from the ground and then you build. We have 4 different types here. I have no idea what this is. It's mostly in Korean. Got it at the Korean market. And then you have your typical American 2 here, and then another Japanese ramen. So one of the biggest things that I wanted to go over was there's different sizes of ramen packets. So these, the macarons, the Nissan top ramens, these are all about 85 gram packs. So this is enough for one person for a snack. It's not really going to fill you up. It's just, it's enough to satisfy, but it's not really going to do anything for you. Then there's these larger packs. This is 120 grams. So depending on what recipe that we're creating, we're going to use different size packs to make more filling meals. And this video series really is going to cover a whole wide variety of food topics. It's not going to be just boil noodles, add seasoning, boom, you have ramen. I mean, we're going to get really creative. And they all have instructions on the back on how to prepare them. So this is the only video that we're actually going to use these instructions, because the rest of these recipes are really just going to be from the top of my head. I'm just going to create interesting and unique plays off of real foods. So like the next video, the video I'm going to shoot after this video, I'm actually going to make a classic Italian carbonara with ramen noodles. You don't have to buy certain flavors, the chicken flavor, the shrimp flavor, the spicy chicken barbecue flavor, or the soy flavor. You really, as these videos progress, you're really just using the noodles. I know it's not really the cheap way to cook ramen. I'm not about doing the cheap way to cook ramen, really. This is really just me exploring flavor profiles that can work with the top ramen, because we're quarantined. We can't leave the house. I have nothing else to do for 8 weeks. I'm out of a job for 8 weeks, so this is what I'm going to do for the next 8 weeks, is show you how to make really amazing meals out of top ramen. Alright, so here is the packet, Maruchan. I have no idea how to actually pronounce that, but so a ramen noodle soup, chicken flavor. We're going to look at the back here. So here we have boil 2 cups of water in a saucepan, add noodles, cook for 3 minutes, stirring occasionally, turn off heat, add contents, stir well for a minute, makes 2 8-ounce servings. Alright, so here's our 2 cups of water and our packet of ramen. So we're just going to pour this into our little saucepan. Got this cute little baby saucepan that we're going to use here. You don't want to really, you want the water to be a little bit deeper so that the whole ramen noodle can sink into it and fully heat. So we're going to put it on high heat, and we'll just wait for that to come up to a boil. Alright, so our water's just come to a boil, so we're just going to open up our pack. The contents of ramen, as everybody knows, are super simple. Inside you have your flavor packet. Sometimes it'll be like dry onions, dry green onions, and that kind of stuff in a separate seasoning packet. And then we have your classic wafer. So this is the dry ramen noodle. Okay, so here's our boiling water, and we are going to just add the entire thing in there. We're just going to push it into the water. What did I do with my spoon? And we're just going to submerge that into the water like that. Top ramen has been a big thing in my family growing up. I grew up in a pretty I wouldn't say poor, but we were definitely not, rich family. We ate a lot of top ramen. I mean, I remember that was kind of the after-school snack because my mom worked, and so after school we'd come home, we'd make ourselves top ramen, and came up with all kinds of crazy and disgusting versions of top ramen in our junior high and high school days. But it has a long connection to my culinary adventure, just because I ate a lot of it as a kid. My mom bought it by the case. One of the things they teach you in culinary school is always keep your station, your workplace, clean and orderly and organized. It's called mise en place, everything in its place. So there's a reason why you always see chefs like they do something and then they clean, and they do something and they clean. There's our timer. It's really ingrained into our heads. We're gonna take this off the heat. I'm gonna take this towel, take this pan off the heat, and we're gonna add our seasoning packet. It said to stir for a minute after adding the seasoning packet, and then that would be done. Wow, that's a childhood memory right there. I haven't eaten ramen in I don't know how many years. So here we have, that was my knee hitting a metal grate, but these are our 2 by the package servings of ramen. And this is extremely boring looking to me, and I can remember exactly how this tastes. I don't even have to taste it. I know exactly what this tastes like because I ate so much of it as a child. But this is boring. We're actually going to start from scratch. We're going to start from the top, and I'm going to show you how to make regular ramen by the packet taste amazing. Alright, so what we're going to do here to make this dressed up version of just straight from the package ramen, we're going to use some sesame oil, some green onions, scallions, a lime, some peanuts, and some cilantro. So we're going to throw our 2 cups onto the stove, get that started. And now, while that 2 cups is coming to a boil, I'm going to just really quick prep these items out. Have my wet towel. At work, in a restaurant, we always have buckets of sanitizer solution that we change out every 2 to 4 hours. And so we always wipe down our stations with sanitizer before we start a new project. And we always have wet rags around. Now the purpose of the wet rag is going to keep our cutting board from sliding all over the place. This is a 7.5 inch santoku. This is a Japanese style knife. And then this is a 4-inch paring knife. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do while this is coming up to a boil is I'm going to cut some green onions. Now, one of my first jobs in a restaurant, I worked at a sushi restaurant. And sushi chefs are very particular about how their green onions are cut. So we're going to just chop off the tops here, make everything even to begin with. Now the key is, we're going to keep this rubber band, and we're going to put this rubber band right up towards the tippy top of these green onions. And what that's going to do is it's going to hold them together. Now when you order miso soup and you look at those super, super thin cut green onions, this is how they do that. This keeps them all bunched up so that they're not flailing all over the place. Proper knife technique, we're going to use our claw. So 2 fingers on the side holding the product. The other 2 fingers are guide fingers. And you're going to just keep the knife blade right on the tip of your finger here. And this is really about precision cutting to get them super thin. It's been a long time since I've done this cut, but that's pretty good. Next, we'll cut our lime. We're just going to take off the top, then we're going to take off the bottom, then we're going to flip it upright, and we're going to go straight down through the middle. Okay? That'll give us a nice inside cut. It's easier to cut from the inside than it is to cut from the outside. The skin will deflect the knife. Unless you have a really sharp knife, it's kind of tough without crushing the fruit. So if we flip it over like this, it allows us to get really nice, clean cuts that are more presentable. Like that. Put a couple of these over here. Next, we're going to crush some peanuts. These are just dry roasted peanuts. We're just going to use the flat side of this blade. We're going to put our hand, keep your fingers up and away from the sharp edge. You're just going to push down like that. And that's going to give you that nice chopped peanut. And next is our cilantro. Everybody loves cilantro. This is just a little bit of cilantro. I'm gonna keep it in a nice tight bunch. And we're just gonna make really thin slices out of it. Like that. And we're gonna turn that, and we're gonna come back through it. And there's our chopped cilantro. Here we have our sliced green onions, our lime wedges, our crushed peanuts, and our chopped cilantro. All right, so our water right here is just coming up to a boil. You can see the steam coming out of it. We're gonna open our ramen pack, pull out the flavor packet, and then we're just gonna put this straight into the water. With the hot water so it cooks, we're going to start our timer for 3 minutes. Alright, so our ramen is almost done. We have like maybe another minute on that. Yeah, exactly 1 minute. So we are going to use, this is going to be the one serving. So the first part of this video, we did the 2 recommended 8-ounce servings, but we know that that's half a ramen packet isn't even going to make your stomach start growling. So, you know, in this time of disaster, you know, this pandemic, this coronavirus, COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, whatever you want to label it as, this pandemic, you know, a lot of us are out of work. I mean, I had to release my entire kitchen staff 2 weeks ago, and then my restaurant closed 1 week ago. So I worked from open to close for 7 days because I couldn't have my staff there because we weren't busy enough to have the restaurant open. And so a lot of people are out of work. I'm even technically unemployed now. So there's the timer. So that's our 3 minutes on the pasta. So we're gonna turn our heat off. But because there's so many of us that are out of work, a lot of us are looking for cheaper ways to eat. So that's kind of the point of these videos. Like I said, I'm not going to do cheap, you know. I mean, there's a couple of ideas that I saw online for making this ramen where you basically take a can of, I think one was chili. You cook the noodles, you drain them, and then you add the chili, and it's chili ramen. And I'm gonna do it. I mean, we're gonna explore top ramen for these, you know, 101 ways to make top ramen. But it's really just interesting times, and so I wanted to do an interesting video series since, you know, when they let me go at work, they told me it could be 8 weeks before I'm back, could be 12 weeks, could be 6 months, we just don't know. And so that's unfortunate, is, you know, a lot of us are facing an indefinite future of, you know, how long are we going to be out of work, how long are we going to be stuck at home. And so that's why I'm making these videos, is A, it gives me something to do, and B, it's crazy times out there. Okay, so we've stirred our ramen for the minute that it says on the package. Put this into our bowl. So we have our 5, had to do a really quick count there, 5 adders to take this up a notch. So we're going to put our noodles in first, and then we will add this liquid afterwards. Unless you're eating clams and mussels, I don't like to have too much liquid because you're not dipping any bread into this. Alright, so we're going to pour that over just to get a nice amount of noodles and liquid. Okay, so we're going to sprinkle on our green onions right over the top. Do our crushed peanuts. Cilantro. Some sesame oil. Just sesame oil right over the top, and that'll mix in. And that already smells a lot better. A little bit more green onions around the edge. There you have it. Just a squeeze of lemon or of lime. And that's that. Wash my hands real quick. Alright, so that is our, you know, 5 ingredients added to the top ramen to make it taste a little bit better. So we're just gonna pick it up. We're gonna give it a quick stir to get all of those flavors mixed in. That sesame oil just smells incredible. All right, and then you're just gonna take a bite. Well, it's definitely better than the packaged stuff just by itself, but tastes like top ramen. Alright, thanks for watching. We're starting this as its own channel. So if you want to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can follow along. So this series is called 101 Ways to Ramen. This is video 1. Got 100 more to go. Follow along. Thank you.
Should I be taking a bite?